Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so today we're going to be doing the tier list for the September units. So all the way, I believe the last tier list we ended up doing was from Toshiro, the Tosho banner, July in the month. So we have a few characters, and I'm not going to be doing all the resurrection characters, kind of the ones that interest me, which was the resurrection batch of Arono, Stark and Xylopro, just because I think the other ones were kind of mediocre. I actually don't even remember if there are any other ones, but yeah, it's kind of an overall in the game. Obviously, it's kind of like how I feel about the characters. I'm gonna try to rank them, and then I don't have every character on here. I have up to like from 4th anniversary upwards, because anything below that is basically unusable in the entire game. But yeah, we're gonna try to rank them throughout the entirety of the game. Guild quests, inheritance trials, you know, epic grades, stuff like that. Limit breaker as well, that's the other big one. So yeah, curious to know what your guys' top 1 characters in the game and each attribute. That'd be kind of fun to see. But yeah, so the first character we're gonna be doing is Kensei. Now Kensei is a normal attack damage character. Unfortunately, yet again, another mediocre Kensei. He's good for what he is, a melee hollow GQ character. You know, he has pretty good damage. You know, bruiser of 70%, really good. High, he has high bruiser. The enhancer and boost ability, so he gets the extra 43% attack focus on defense. And then he also has team party captain, normal attack damage plus 20%, so he's also getting a bonus there. And then he's getting, you know, the usual NAD boost, flurry plus 1 or 2 in GQ, killer effect plus 30 or 50 in GQ. He also has a long reach, which is pretty good, you know, more range. He has melee damage plus 30 or plus 10 or plus 30 in GQ. And he's good. He's good. He's not bad. Not like anything insane. But as for NAD character, I think he's basically just up here with Ikaku. I think he's better than Ikaku because he does have a boost. But it is taking into account, it is melee hollow. So I think outside of like Nightmare, you're never really gonna use him because you just don't really need that. Melee hollow is absolutely stacked. Because I believe no Uetsu's no affiliation, but still, like Yuha easily cleans house, or Kangdu or Mugetsu, whoever you want to use in that GQ. He's a very good unit though. He is a very good unit. And yeah, that's pretty much it for him. Nothing, you know, mind-boggling. He's good. He's good. All right, there we have a better POV. That last one is a bit, just a bit too zoomed in. I didn't like it, but now we have the premium Retsu. I don't personally have her, but I've seen that she's pretty good. She's a ranged Quincy killer, normal attack damage soul trait of 30%. She has no status summons also, which is a good thing. Kensei does have status summons, so he would have the potential to proc an ailment, but at least it's weakening, so it's not the biggest deal. But I think just a unit without any ailments is better as a side, as a NAD character. Unfortunately though, she didn't end up getting a boost, so she's just kind of there just to do damage. Really could have used a booster. Or do we have a range Quincy booster now, actually? I can't think of one off the top of my head. Maybe I'm crazy. But either way, she has team party, story per damage, plus 20%. Story per normal attack damage plus 20%. Bruiser of 50%. Flurry of 1 or plus 2 in GQ. Remember, she's a mid-month unit, so obviously, you know, she's kind of just... I guess Kensei was also a mid-month unit, but he was 1000 or lower, so he's special. She's basically exactly like Kensei, except instead of a boost, she has a heal, which I think sucks. Like, I think there's no point to even have a heal in the game at this point. I think it's very mediocre. She has range damage plus 30 in GQ, you know, killer effect plus 50 in GQ, flurry plus 2 in GQ, you know, the same old. Nothing insane. I think she's okay. Kind of funny that we got 2 NAD characters. What would I... Probably just, like, low Shinji. Because I think he basically has like the exact same skills, but he has a boost. So I'm going to just place him higher because I think he has more usability. You know, they're fine. They're fine characters, just nothing insane. You could probably even put her lower. She's somewhere in Esther, you know, she's middle of the road. She's okay. Now for Byakuya. I'm not going to lie, like, they're all super close. These 3 units are all like insanely broken, insanely busted. Like, because you're going to want to use them when they have killer at their best, you know, in Limit Breaker. And they all have the increased status summon chance against their certain killer. I think the only reason Tsuchikai Ichigo has a bit of an edge is because he has 2 killers, but so does Toshiro. Byakuya has insane damage. you know, is the increased status summon chance. He has weakening and paralysis, so you know you're extremely safe. He also has the EX skill, which is a very good EX skill. He has a multi-barrier on it and has very good range, whereas Toshiro's is a very small, you know, circle, basically. Not even a small circle, it's a decent sized circle, but it's so slow. It just like tickles the enemy until it explodes. You're never really going to use it in a content based mode where you are trying to speed run it, like Limit Breaker Quest, or I guess there is some use on Limit Breaker, but mainly Guild Quest. You're never going to use it. That's why he has a much slower clear time in Guild Quest compared to like Tsushika Ichigo, who can get like 55, 56 seconds in very hard GQ. Byakuya, who can get extremely fast as well. I think I've seen a 54. I think, could be a bit wrong, but I've used him. He feels insanely good. He has strong attack recharge time on his 14%. Also, he is a ranged human killer. He also has human killer plus, so he gets that huge boost from that. As I said before, paralysis and weakening on all of his strong attacks. He has Team Party Soul Reaper damage to status on affected enemies of 30%, Berserker of 60%, Bombardment plus 1, complete status immunity. He has the Debilitator of 5 seconds, Frenzy plus 2, increased status summon chance against humans, Poise Break, which is very good, especially in Limit Breaker, which we should be getting in Limit Breaker later this month. He has Sharpshooter, SP boost of 80%, weakened defense, and then he has an extra full stam. When you're at full stam, you get increased strong attack damage of 40%. He has Havoc and Sprinter plus 2. So he's a very, very fun unit, very good. You just have to give him some long stride. So I think because of his strong attack kit, I think he's obviously you can move any of these three. They are so neck and neck. I think Shikai is still better. Could it be Byakuya? Yes. If you think Byakuya is better, go for it. Go for it. I'm not going to argue with you. I think they're all insanely close. These are easily the top 3 heart units in the entire game. And it's kind of like, you know, it's very close. It's very close. Let me know down below who you think is better. But I think either way, you put Byakuya 1, I won't be mad. You put Ichigo 1, sure. You put Tosh 1, that's kind of like a but I still think he's an exceptional character, and you want to put him 1, sure, but I think he's 2. I think he's 2. Ichigo's SA3 is just so insanely broken. You can basically one-shot almost any wave in very hard guild quests. He's insane, and he also has the reluctancy of having 2 killers, which is why I think it just helps him out that much more. But yeah, I will say also, because of Byakuya's team party buff, he can also end up buffing True Shikai Ichigo, and he won't have killer. Because I believe Toshiro can proc it, since on melee Soul Reaper, I believe Toshiro can proc it. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm forgetting it, what his exact killer is. But either way, he's a good side for Mr. Ichigo. But they're both good sides, actually. They both have like the exact same thing. More damage to status summon affected enemies. But yeah, either way. Actually, I think Tosh is 40. Okay, moving on. Heart is done. Heart is done. I don't have anything to move, really. Also, this is a PVE tier list, so hopefully I mentioned that. I'm going to have it in the title, but I'm thinking of moving down farmers. Someone has mentioned it. They are only farmers, so I don't think they deserve SS tier. So I think I'll move them down. I will always keep them in the top as the best farmers at the very top because, you know, they are very, very good. I want to mention that. But they are just farmers. They're only good in IT and epic raids. You are never going to use them anywhere else besides Mamiya Senkai on stage. That's basically it. So I think I'll probably move them down just because they're not god tier. You know, you can't use them in Limit Breaker really. Alright, so we are on to the technique attributes now. And I'm just going to do it right away. I'm going to move down Halibel. Just here. Just top farmer. That's why she's at the very top, because she's a farmer. And she's very, very good. That's why. But yeah, I don't really see anybody I want to move down. I'm really thinking of moving down Aizen, but he's still so good, but like, I don't use him in Guild Quest anymore. Like, genuinely, outside of Ranger Rankar, I never use him. And then once we get an actual good SP character for Ranger Rankar, I think he's going to be gone. But obviously, that hasn't happened yet. We only have a melee Rankar killer. Last Ranger Rankar was 7th Anniversary Ichigo that was actually good. So, maybe one day. Really, Tosho is still very good, though. He's good. I just, you know, his gauge is kind of lackluster. Alright, so we're going to end up going with the Camp Fear on World Stark Resurrection. Such a cool unit. Such a cool unit. I think he's good. He's good. He got a pretty good resurrection. I think it's the best resurrection of the bunch, I believe. But yeah, he ended up getting a full stamina only increased strong attack damage at 20% as his link. So he has the recharge and that damage link, which immediately just makes him one of the best links in the entire game. But this is an overall unit, not just a link showcase or tier list. He has a berserker value of 40% now. You know, he has some damage to burning enemies. He does have bruiser, but back in the day, that's kind of what they always wanted. He has frenzy of 1. He has havoc. He's pretty good. You know, he's pretty good. I don't think that really changes him anywhere. Like, I think I had him like low A, maybe. I think he's just like, I might just put him up next to Uryu. Literally just up next to Uryu. That's where I have him. The other technique link, that's the exact same thing. Like, he's fine. I remember seeing Death Showcase, and it looked like he did pretty good when he was max transcended. Nothing like insane, mind-boggling, but he can do the job. He can clear IT. That's good enough. You know, he's a decent character. Nothing, you know, nothing game breaking. He's there. But now going into the next character, which was an absolute surprise to see him as a mid-month character, and especially to see how well he performed. That was in your Bower Shinji, mid-month Shinji. The overlay is a bit bugged, but I believe he is a squad 0 killer, range squad 0 killer. He ended up replacing Macy, which I think was a need. I think she's still an exceptional unit, by the way. It's just that the not having a very good increased chance to proc was very annoying, and she also didn't have immunity to the stage. Like, she just wasn't immune to it, which was very, very annoying. He has freeze immunity on his innate skills, so that's good. That's good. She didn't have it. It's very obnoxious getting frozen. But yeah, he has a very good kit. He has the SP boost of 40% as a soul trait. I didn't forget this time. I always forget that. He has weakening and confusion on his strong attacks. Confusion, I think, is weird. It's not the worst thing. Especially since we apply weakening. That way, you know, maybe they'll turn around and they won't shoot rocks at you, I guess. So, you know, that's good. You know, the long range ones. But yeah, weakening confusion on all of his strong attacks, including his soul bomb. He has a very good value. Berserker value of 50%. Unfortunately, he ended up getting a bruiser value of 50%, which I think is very stupid. I assume because they think he's a mid-month character, that's why they did that to him. It's fine. He's still good. He cleared very fast. Like, I think he easily gets like a 50-second clear in GQ. I will say, though, it's unfortunate because he's never going to be using Limit Breaker. He's a squad 0 killer, so he just won't get, you know, unfortunate. Never going to be using a Limit Breaker, so we can't really showcase him on that. But he has a very good strong attack kit. He has a 40% mag, so it's just a lot of hits to proc with his SA1. His SA2 was a 960, 120 mag. That's what I thought it was. I just didn't want to mess it up. And then full screen, no SA3 as per usual. So, I mean, it's a pretty good strong attack kit. It's nothing, like, terrible. Like, I do really like his SA2. His SA1 could be better, but I think it's fine because if you proc SP boost, he's basically one-shotting the boss at that point. 50% Berserker, damage to confused enemies plus 6%, debilitator of 5 seconds, devastation of 70, which is kind of weird. Being at 70, it's usually 60. I don't know. Frenzy of 2. He also has guard breaks. You can use him outside of GQ in like IT or IZ or anything like that. Increased status summon chance against Soul Reapers. SP boost at 80%, going up to 120 because of his soul trait. Recharge of 12%. He has weakened defense. And then he has Havoc and Sprinter +1. So, like, is he, like, the fastest unit to play? No, he doesn't have Sprinter +2 or Long Shot or anything. But I still think he's a very, very, very good unit. And then he's fighting for number 2 spot. It's either him or Bambi. I don't have Bambi, so I don't have the best, you know, thoughts on her. Because I haven't used her. But from what I remember, she has very linear, like, straight attacks. Kind of like in the same vein as Halle Bell. And then she also has a lot of Guild Quest only skills, which is why I'm kind of leaning towards Shinji being better, as he is going to have a better overall kit for the entire game, and I think he just has a better strong attack kit, and that's why I think he's better. I still think Remy's number one, very insane character, but yeah, I'm gonna put Shinji number 2. Shinji number 2, very, very good character, insane character. Maybe the Bamboo fans won't like that. Maybe she actually is number 2 and I'm wrong. But I don't have her. I've only seen showcases and she's good. She is a good unit. That's why she's number 3. So, you know. Now as for Tendero. Tendero is a very interesting one. He is a very, very good booster. He is the best support character in the entire game. Except for maybe Maidor and Hime. I kind of wish he had complete status immunity or shared status immunity. oh my god, that would be crazy. But he is a very interesting character. He has an SA2 and an SA3 heal. Meanwhile, his SA2 is also a boosted, a enhanced boost, so they get 43% attack, focus, and defense. Very, very good SA2. And that means he has no status summons on any of his strong attacks, except for his Soul Bomb, Nad String, and his SA1. So less chance for him to proc his status element. And the reason he has status elements is because of his Team Party Soul Reaper damage to status element affected enemies plus 30%. So anytime you need a booster for a range weakened GQ, you're going to bust this guy out. If you have a Soul Reaper as your main lead, obviously. But he has a booster. He has Bruiser of 60%, very high Bruiser. Debilitator of 5 seconds. Honestly, kind of wish you just didn't have Debilitator, because then you wouldn't proc status elements as long. So then they just go away immediately, and then you can hopefully reapply, but it's whatever. He has Enhancer of 10 seconds, Flurry plus Wonder plus 2 in GQ. He has the Healer effect of 30, which I think is kind of a wasted skill. Kind of wish he had got the attack boost, but then I guess you'd probably want more status elements, so it's whatever. He has Medic, Poise, and then range damage plus 30 in GQ. Also, he is a ranged human killer. Ranged human killer. I couldn't remember because the icon doesn't show up. Ranged human killer, normal attack damage plus 35% is his soul trait, which is also very, very good. So yeah, I think he's a very, very good NAD character. Ranged killer. Ranged human killer. So he's going to be excellent with Byakuya, the new 1000 level Byakuya. And I'm kind of saying that he's probably the second or third best NAD character because of his support. Like, his support is insane. Like, he can fully heal your team if he drops a strong attack, either his SA1 or SA3, or his SA2 or SA3. He can buff up your team if you're a Soul Reaper, and he has really, really good damage, and he's a booster. I think he's very, very good. Maybe better than Rangiku, because I think he just has that much use, and she really only is ever, like, she's fine in range of wrong card, but she's mainly just using Limit Breaker to apply Laceration and beat down the heavy hitting bosses. So I think this is pretty good. You know, high S, you can move her around, you can move him around if you really want to. I think this is a comfortable spot. Alright, so the next character we have is the Can't Fear Onward Resurrection character of Arono. And I'm not gonna lie, I think he's okay. He's just kind of fine. He ended up getting the damage to weakened enemies minus 20%, an extra damage to weakened enemies by 20% or plus 30%, and I think he got 10% Berserker. And then I think that's like genuinely it. I honestly can't remember what else he got, but that's like all his damage multipliers. He didn't really get anything else. He's whatever. I still think he's like low A. He's nothing exceptional. He's fine. You could probably even drop him lower if you really wanted to. I think he's a very mediocre character. Nothing to say more on that. Unfortunate. They shafted him. Now on to the end of month 1000-year Blood War Uetsu, who is absolutely insane. I'm so happy he is. People were calling him shit. I was optimistic because obviously Caleb could have fumbled him, but his gauge mechanic is so goddamn good. He is so broken. Apparently he can get 56 seconds remaining and very hard GQ if he's 5'5". Bro is just an absolute monster. He has no affiliation killer plus. He has damage to enemies not afflicted by an ailment plus 40%. So another big reason I like this character, he does not rely on status summons. He just does raw damage. You proc the gauge and you bully every single thing in the entire game. It's so good. It's so good. He has no status summons, obviously. He has the gauge effect of strong attack recharge minus 30%. And then because they don't show it, he has the Berserker of 100%, and he gets an extra Frenzy plus 1 with his gauge. That's absolutely insane. And then his EX move, they call it a super strong attack. It's just like an extra strong attack. It does a little, it's fine. It does damage. It's very fast as well, so it's not like, you know, Tosho's where it sits there for like 30 seconds. It's just like an extra SA2. That does a little bit of damage. It's nothing crazy from what I've seen, but if he's 5'5", a little bit of damage from a 5'5" Uetsu, I'd imagine hits pretty darn hard. Alright, so he has Bombardment plus 1, damage to enemies not affected by an ailment plus 100%. He has Fire Duration minus 100%, so that's like one gripe. Kind of just wish he had complete status immunity, but it's fine. He has Frenzy of 2, Gauge Rampage plus 1. He has Long Stride, Poise Break, except Brave Battles plus 1. He has Start Gauge plus 70%, so he has a Start Gauge, awesome, and he gets recharged whenever he procs his gauge, awesome. He has Strong Attack Recharge minus 12%, and he has Weakened Defense. And then he also has Havoc, Marauder, and Sprinter plus 2. He's a very, very fast character. He does a lot of damage. I absolutely love him. And if you want to say he's best speed character in the game, fine. But I think he's number 2. Kenpachi is just, he's just an absolutely insane character. He does have RNG, obviously. You know, if you don't practice status summon, that's very annoying. He does. I don't think he has a better strong type kit besides his SA3. But his EX skill just is insane. The insane SP multiplier in Kenpachi makes him absolutely blitz through GQ, IT. You could just give him long shot in IT and he's blitzing away. He's absolutely insane. But he has increased killer chance against, you know, Aronkars, I believe, Aronkars. And then Uetsu just doesn't even care about killer. So, you know, take that into consideration. You know, if you think he's number 1, go for it. You know, they're insane. They're insane. The power creep in terms of like damage between these two and the number 3rd spot is kind of ridiculous. Also, I will say, I almost forgot, I'm gonna move Senjumaru down. She's just a farmer, just gonna do it. It's not that she's bad, it's just that she's only a farmer. That's why she's only a farmer. Yeah, I think that is basically, nope, we still have the Nad character. I was gonna say that's basically it for speed, but I forgot. We have the mid-month guy. I thought we did him first. But he is a human killer. He is a melee human killer. He has full stamina only, increased normal attack damage plus 40%. So that's kind of cool, I guess. Wish it just was only NAD 40 in general, but it is what it is. He has a berserker value of 30%, a very low bruiser value, but he ramps up by 10%, I believe, every single time you get 10 kills. So he has like a killing mechanic. You know, he kills enemies and he increases it, so that's pretty good. He has decreased damage taken minus 60%, decreased human damage taken minus 20%. He has flurry plus 1 or 2 in GQ. He has killer effect plus 30 or plus 50 in GQ, plus 50, sounded like 15. And then he has melee damage plus 10 or plus 30 in GQ, paralysis duration minus 100%. He has poise, start barrier. He's a decent NAD character. He's not bad. And melee human, I don't really think you need it. He's not a booster. I think they don't need a booster actually because of Soifon. And maybe he's getting prepared for the next game mode because he'll ramp up and he'll actually be able to get all of his kills, but when it's like actually getting difficult. But I think he's a good character. He's a good character. You know, he might be up by like Grimmjow. I think he's pretty good because Grimmjow also isn't a buffer. I think he's up there somewhere. He's fine. Obviously though, you're not gonna be only doing Nightmare or only doing the new game of whenever it releases, probably next year. But it is what it is. I think he's fine. He's fine for right now. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it for speed. Also, I need to move Kako into PvP. He is a very better character at this point. I've seen this guy so many times. Speed Chad, where you at? Speed Chad needs to be out of this list. The GOAT. But I guess it's PvP though, so that doesn't really matter about this tier list. Speed is very iffy because I see people fight about Okiora and whatnot, but in terms of speed, he's very mediocre in terms of like the top dogs. Like those characters are absolutely insane. Not mid, you know what I mean? Like he's good. They just would absolutely shit stomp him. Okay. Moving on to the next attribute. Alright, so let's get to the worst character from the Resurrection Batch of Camp Fear World, which is Mr. Xylopero. He got a very mid bonus. He ended up getting damage inflicted at low stamina of 24%. Damage inflicted at low stamina plus 50%. I think his Berserker also went up. I think it was like 20 or 30 before. It's now 50. And then I think he got poison duration. Either way, very mid. The low stam build sucks. Outside of Brave Battles, you're never going to use it. I'm putting him in B. I think he sucks. Until we get a mode or a character where you always start at low stam, he's useless. He sucks. There's no use for it. Because getting beaten up for like 30 seconds before you can actually use the character is pretty terrible. That's all I'm going to waste time on him for. Now Rukia. I bashed her a bit much on her SA3. The visual for me, it looks like it was very narrow. Okay, in my showcase, I said it was a bad SA3. I've tried it out since. It's wider than I thought. I don't know what to tell you. Also, obviously, it was a skill issue in my showcase. I was like 2AM Tony. Who can you blame? 2AM Tony? I hate that guy. Anyways, she has melee squad 0 killer, basically replacing Isafui Toshiro and Yumachika, which easily puts her into like top 3, top 4. She's up here. I don't think she touches these two guys. These guys are absolutely insane. And it's just unfortunate because she got a bunch of her skills only in GQ, which is unfortunate. Those two don't. They don't have any GQ only skills. That's why I think that she's fighting for White's number 3 spots. But I do say she is better than Yumachika. People were saying that she is somehow worse than Yumachika. I don't know how. Her damage is so much better when I actually used her. But she has a Squad 0 Killer Plus. She has strong attack recharge time minus 14%. And then she has strong freeze and drain on all of her strong attacks, including her Soul Bomb, except for her SA2. Which I think is like the biggest gripe, because she wants to inflict status summons, obviously. She has increased status summon chance, but then she has an SA2 that doesn't have a status summon, but Soifon does, but she doesn't have an EX skill. This Rukia does not have an EX skill, which is very, very weird. Very disappointing, to be honest. If she had that, I think she's probably not facing Ishin, but you know what I mean. She'd be much more well received. Her SA1 is like a lunge, just like Thousand Bubble Kenpachi's, 9th anniversary Kenpachi's. Her SA2 is a 960 if I'm not mistaken. It is a 750. It's a 750 AoE distant. My bad. So it's a little bit less than the 960 like the SA2 of Byakuya's. So keep that in mind. I thought it was a 960. I was wrong. I'm thinking of Byakuya's SA2. That was a 960. I remember a comment saying it was a 960. And then her SA3 apparently has the same range as True Shikai Ichigo's. More range than I thought it was. It just feels awkward because to me the visual looks like it's super thin. Ichigo's visual, you can see the Getsuga GG show very clearly. So to me, if I don't see a visual indicator, it's like, okay, this is very thin. But I was wrong. That's on me. That's on me. But yeah. So let's go over her skills. She has a Berserker of 50%. Not terrible. Booster of 30%. She also has the Enhanced ability plus 10 seconds. So she gets the 43% attack, focus, and defense. She has a Debilitator of 5 seconds. Frenzy of 2. Or plus 3 in GQ, which I think is fine. Not that many characters have Frenzy plus 3 base, besides like 3 or 4 characters. Kenpachi, Gremi, and 8th and Ichigo, I think, are the only ones. And then I think Uetsu gets it from his gauge. I think that's like the only characters with actual Frenzy 3. And then increased status summon chance against Soul Reapers plus 10%, which I will say is a gripe of the GQ. It's not even Rukia's fault. It's just that the GQ is very stupid, because since it's only to Soul Reapers, she just... it doesn't do that much damage because she doesn't have Killer against Soul Reapers. She has Killer against Squad 0. She should have gotten Squad 0 Killer Plus and then Soul Reaper Killer to benefit her, so that way she can actually Soul Bomb and kill the side mobs. Because if you see gameplay, her Soul Bomb, unless she's duped out, she can't kill the side mobs. She just freezes them. Even if you have an SP boost already active, it doesn't do that much damage, which is very underwhelming. Usually, you'd spend 2-3 strong attacks, you get to the 3rd phase, 3rd or 4th, whatever it is, and then you would Soul Bomb, you kill all the waves, and then you would just hammer home on the boss. But on this, you can't. Also, it's because of the GQ, because she only gets ×3 damage output, which is stupid. They need to change that. It should just be ×5 in base. That way she can actually Soul Bomb and kill things. So, it's not even her. It's just the terrible GQ, to be honest. Killer effect plus 30 plus 50 in GQ. She ends up getting Marauder. Melee damage plus 10 or plus 30 in GQ. Shared complete status immunity, which is very, very good. And then SP boost of 80%. And then her soul tree ended up getting her full stamina only, reduced strong attack cooldown minus 6%, which really helps her SA2 boost because it is a longer cooldown. Havoc plus 20, and then Sprinter plus 1. So she's still a very, very good unit. That's why I'm saying she's probably fighting for top 3. You could say maybe White is better than her, but I don't think so. Rukia can get a 50-second clear in the very hard GQ with the ×3 damage output, only ×3 damage. Also, the spawns were very wide and spread out. Very, very odd to nerf her like that. But it is what it is. I think she's still a very, very good character. I showcased her very poorly, and I've seen other people showcase, and they did a tremendous job of her. I've tried her out a bit more. I bumped her up. I still did think she was better than Yumachika. I was just very conflicted on how she placed against 8th anniversary White. Where's mine? I was going to move down to 7th anniversary Ichigo and Meninas. I completely forgot. My bad. This is the part of the mind at the very end I completely forgot. I'm moving down 7th anniversary Ichigo only because I believe... Let me double check actually before I actually do this, because maybe I'm wrong. But he should only have Frenzy of 1, SP boost of 80%. So much resetting. He's so outdated. And the only reason I've had them at high is because, range Soul Reaper, range the wrong card. But I'm sorry, I just don't like the character. I just don't like him. I don't think he's good. Having to reset that amount of times to get a decent score is insane. That's why I moved down 6th anniversary Aizen. I moved him down last time. Having to reset that many times just to get a decent score, and usually your sides are carrying, I don't think that deserves SS. I don't think you deserve to be among these insane characters. Like, these characters should not be anywhere near 6th Anniversary Aizen. I'm sorry. Alright, so let's just get this over with. Renji, he is a normal attack damage character in Brave Battles, so he's getting the PvP treatment. I don't even want to rank them. There's no point, because then he'd be at, like, low S, probably. I guess I could put them in the tier list, but I just want to separate them, because you're not going to use him anywhere. Almost all of his skills are Brave Battles. He doesn't even have Bruiser. Does he even have, like, Guard Break or anything? He has Marauder, so you can use him outside of PvP. You can use him outside of there. But that's up to you. I don't really recommend it, but you can. As for the actual unit, Jushiro, not much in power this month. He's a Hollow Killer. He has Coin Drop plus 30%. Crystal and Jewel Drop plus 50%. He has an extra Coin Drop with 70% is his skills. He has Last Rate. He has a Barrier. He's kind of the best unit in the game. Best unit in the game. Okay, that's the tier list. That's insane. I'm joking. He's fine. He's a coin drop farmer. He's a very early game character. If you pull him as a new character, that's very cool. Very good. He will definitely help out your account. He has Berserker of 60%. That's pretty good. He has Frenzy of 2. As for like how much value you'll get from him, probably like here, probably more than Tetsu's Daimon. He's probably there. Like, the other characters are at least good in guild quests. They're farmers, like potion farmers, super pot farmers. Mr. Eburn himself is like 70% coin drop as is, so it's like, you know, it's like, this guy's not doing much for your account. He's a very easy autoable character. I don't even know what his strong attack kits is. It's like, I don't have him. He has a ranged shave SA1, 1200, 18% mag, very mid, very mid. He has an 870 radius on his SA2, and then his SA3 is a full screen. That SA1 sucks. It's very unfun, very, very unfun. But yeah, I also think I'm probably going to move down Lily Barrow out of SS tier, only because I only use him in IT. Gonna move him down. You can use all of these characters in Limit Breaker, Guild Quest, IT, and they all do very, very good. It is what it is. Power, not so much happening this month. Hopefully we get another insane power character, because I don't think we have we have one. We have Soifun, who's a killer plus. But yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your top 5 or even just top 1 in each attribute. Just kind of curious. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys have an absolutely amazing day. Take care and peace out.